Hey there, it's Tom Corsinals, and right now I'm going to show you how I find great editors at really cheap prices. And this is the website I use. It's called guru.com, Guru.com, and it's a site kind of like Elance or VWorker or what used to be Rent-A-Coder, or these sites where basically you post a job description, then you have all these contractors or workers give you bids on the project. So right now, I'm at guru.com. You have to create a profile, and then you create a project. And I'm going to call my project Editing Needed for Fiction/Nonfiction. I'm actually creating this project just for you, just for students of this course. So hopefully I will be able to find some really reliable, great editors that I can refer to all of you students. And I'm not looking for a commission or anything like that, but I just want to make sure that you get, the best editors working on your books to help you, like I said before, spend more time writing, so that you can focus on what really makes money, which is writing new books and creating great books, and then have your editor, have your team help you craft those books and make them even better. So here's what I wrote in the project description. I have dozens of authors as clients who need professional editing help. Some write nonfiction while others write fiction. Please send your quote for editing, proofreading a book, and base your quote per word count. For example, how much would it cost to edit a 40,000 word book? If your quote makes sense and your work checks out, I'll have my clients contact you for future editing work. Please include the words publishing clients in your response so that I know you've actually read this description. Okay, so if you're writing this this job listing for yourself, obviously you would write it a little bit differently, but you will want to tell people how long is your book and what kind of editing do you need. In this case, I'm just asking for proofreading. I'm not asking for big structural edits or things like that, just basic proofreading. That's what most authors need. You might need more editing help than that, but this is just the start. So that's what we're starting with. It's going to be the cheapest to get proofreaders. If you need help with grammar and things like that, then it's going to cost more to hire a better editor who's doing more advanced editing work. But this is how we're going to start here. And then in the skills, here you just type in what skills you want. So I'm just going to type in editing, which I've added for the skills here. And then budget, I always want a fixed price. I never want to pay an hourly charge, ever. I do not like paying per hour unless the hourly rate is like so ridiculously cheap that I know it's not going to break my bank account. But if someone tells you, hey, it's $20 an hour to edit your book, well, okay, how many hours is it going to take? What if it takes them 100 hours? Then you're looking at $2,000, where you thought $20 an hour was cheap, but $2,000 is not cheap to edit a short book, okay? So I always want to do a fixed price. I always want quotes that are fixed prices ahead of time. This is my number one rule of hiring contractors, is always have a fixed price, because then you can budget for it. You can say, hey, look, I've got $500 in the bank. I can spend that on an editor. Look, that's fine. But if you give someone an hourly rate or something like that, then they can end up racking up a much bigger bill than you ever imagined, and you can go broke really fast doing that. I do not recommend that. So I want a fixed price. And then on the budget, I'm going to put under $250. There's a good reason why I'm doing that, because I don't want to pay too much. Now, some people say under $250 for editing a book, that's ridiculous, Tom. That's okay. Well, maybe it is, but look, there are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of writers and editors all over the world who do not have enough work, who are underpaid, underemployed. They need work. They need money. They have very skilled. They're very trained. I just don't have any work right now. So the market for writing and editing is very competitive right now. One of the reasons why I'm creating this course, because I see so many authors struggling just to get by, just to make ends meet, and my heart really goes out to them. It's because they don't understand all the things I'm teaching you in this course. But the bottom line is, look, this is a business we're running here, the business of being an author, and you have to, in my opinion, you have to just be wise about it. So if you've got more money to spend, that's fantastic. Use a bigger budget, hire better editors, that's totally fine. But I'm telling you from my personal experience, I've hired editors who edit stuff for a half a cent per word, which for a 10,000 word book is like $50. And I've hired editors for $1,500. And I can honestly say that the editor for half a cent per word, she does better work than the person I paid $1,500 to edit a short book that was like 25,000 words. So, price does not necessarily determine how the quality of the candidates you get. And people will say, well, you get what you pay for. Yeah, sometimes that's true, but honestly, there are so many writers right now who are looking for work that you can find great writers do a great job at a very cheap price, very affordable price. And that's just how the world works right now. I have no control of that. You have no control of that. but it just doesn't make sense to me to spend thousands of dollars, and I wouldn't recommend that you spend thousands of dollars on an editor when you can get a really great one for a lot cheaper. Okay, so that's the end of my rant there. Next, timeline. Project closes for whatever, a month from now, that's fine. Then you just click post your project, and then your project will be reviewed by the Guru team, and then once it's reviewed, it's going to be live, and then you're going to get quotes. Hey there, it's Tom Course Moles, and I'm back here. It's been a couple of days since I posted this project on Guru for the editor, the proofreaders, and so I'm going to go through the quotes that I've gotten so far. I'm going to give you an idea of how I evaluate candidates for editing job, or really any outsourced job at all, whether it's a virtual assistant or editor, or proofreader, cover design, anything like that. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm looking for users that are from my country, United States. And the reason is because the biggest ebook market right now is the United States. The UK is about 10% of sales for me right now. Canada is starting to pick up. It's only about 2 or 3% right now, though. And other countries, are picking up, but the biggest market right now for ebooks is the United States. So I want to make sure that anyone who's proofreading my book is gonna be a native English speaker. That's very, very important to be a native English speaker, and they have to understand, the English dialect and the unique usages of language that Americans use versus, the English that people use in Australia or the United Kingdom. Okay, so here's the first person. She is from the United States, so that's great. She put in the keyword here that I wanted to make sure she actually read the quote, read the proposal, and her bid is $250, and that's how she came up with her price, is charging 1.5 cents per word. And so I'd say that's a pretty reasonable quote, so I'm going to say that, okay, she's passed the initial test. And what I'm going to do actually here for you is to save you a lot of time and save everyone who's a student of this course from having to post all these gigs on Guru and taking up a lot of time and effort to do that. I'm going to actually post the results of the contractors that have passed my initial screening, and I'm going to put their contact information, their name, and their information under this video so that you can contact them if you're interested. And then, anyone you want to work with, that's fine. I can't say that I vouch for each of these people because I haven't worked with them. But what I'll do is I'll have a list of people I have not worked with and have no experience with, and those people will be at the bottom. And then I'll have a separate list of editors that I have worked with, that have worked on my personal books and that I vouch for, that said, hey, they did a great job on my personal books and I would recommend them. And then I'll have a second list for editors that have been recommended by other students or by my friends or peers or other Kindle publishers or authors out there who have said, hey, this editor did a great job on their book. So it's a third-party person saying they did a great job. So that way you'll understand, you'll have a list of multiple editors to work with. And what I recommend always is go through and talk to several people. You never want to hire the first person for any job. The reason is because if you do that, you're going to make lots of mistakes. You're probably going to overpay, and you're going to choose someone who you like or who's okay for the job versus someone who's going to be perfect for the job for you. So you always want to talk to at least a minimum of three people, get a minimum of 3 quotes for any project, especially any major project that's going to cost you over $100. And that way you'll make sure that you get the best price, you get the best person for the job. Trust me, it'll save you a lot of time, money, effort, and energy on the back end if you just spend a little bit of time interviewing people on the front end. So here's going to go through the rest of these people now. This person's quote is $320. Let's see, do they have the secret word in here? I don't know if they put the secret word in here, but anyways, they got 23 5-star reviews as well, and the quote is, again, reasonable, so I'm going to say they passed the initial screening. This person, $200 US. Looks okay, but I don't like when people write like this, one giant paragraph. If they write that way, then how are they going to edit? So I would actually reject this person just based on that, unless they maybe have answered on a smartphone. Sometimes people will, respond on a smartphone, and it's very hard to format a letter on a smartphone. But generally, I would ignore requests like this or proposals like this, because if that's the way the person writes in an email or in a project bid, then how are they going to write professionally? Next here, the person obviously read the proposal. It costs us $160. Remember, this is for a 40,000 word book. So she's looking at 0.4 cents per word, but I think she means 0.4 cents per word. She the decimal is not in the right place exactly, but either way, $160 for 40,000 word books. She's even got her phone number here. I'd love when contractors give me, or editors give me, their phone number, because I don't just want to work with people online. I want to work with someone who I can talk to on the phone if there's any problems, any questions at all. I want to be able to give them a phone call or talk to them on Skype and have a face-to-face conversation or a mouth-to-mouth conversation at the minimum, and so that we can talk about any issues or concerns ahead of time or after, because in any working relationship there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be differences of opinion, there's going to be problems that come up, and no matter what the job is, that's just how life works. So you want to make sure that anyone you're hiring and paying a lot of money for, that you can work with them closely, that you can get your questions answered, that you have multiple ways to contact them besides just email. Okay, this next person, the bid is $250, and now I hope you're understanding that this is the norm for editing, for proofreading work. Very low cost. For a 40,000 word book, $250, $200. Some people are charging even less for it, and these are, I want to really emphasize that these are not just Indians, people from a third, not that there's anything wrong with Indians, but these are not people from like a third world country that are don't understand English and haven't been trained. These are U.S. based people. Many of them have BAs in English or master's degrees in fine arts. They understand the English language very well. They do a very good job. That's just a generality. Obviously, the difference between one contractor to another can be very, very, very different. But in general, you can get a very good editor at a very cheap price. And I hope now that this video is kind of proving that to you, that the prices I quoted you for editing work before are not ridiculous. This is the norm. This gentleman's from Canada, so I wouldn't really take his bid. And then also the cost is $500. I could get away with a Canadian. I do have some Canadian writers and editors that I've worked with before, but since the cost is so much higher than everyone else, I'm going to go ahead and delete that quote. And then next we have this person from the United States. The bid is for $200. She used the keyword in here, and then again she's giving more information about her. Where did it go? She's giving more information about her and why she came up with that quote for the book. This person bids on every project on Guru I've ever posted, and it's really annoying. They're from India. I'm going to delete that quote. Montreal, $800. I'm going to delete that quote. It's way out of the price range of the other contractors. This person estimated bid is $25. I'm really curious about that, so I'm going to read more and see what he talks about. He doesn't even use the keyword in here, so he obviously didn't even read the bid, so I'm going to go ahead and delete him. Even though it sounds great to get your book edited for 25 bucks, sometimes paying the very, dirt bottom price is not the best idea. This person from Michigan, I'm ready to help your publishing clients. She obviously read it. $86 is a very low bid. Her bid is a placeholder for 8,000 words, so her quote would be $430 actually. So that's a little bit outside. She also has no reviews or no feedback, so I would go ahead and delete that quote because it's a little bit higher than the average, and she has no reviews, so I don't really have a way of understanding if she really, I want social proof, just like readers on Amazon want to buy books with reviews. Well, I want to work with contractors who have reviews on Guru or whatever site I'm using to find them. And that way it just gives me the peace of mind to know that, hey, if other people are giving them a 5-star review, then they're probably worth, testing out. This person, again, no earnings, no reviews. I'm going to go ahead and delete that quote. Okay, so I think you've gotten enough of an understanding now. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these off camera so that I'm not, wasting your time just going over the same information over and over. But I hope this is giving you a really good perspective of the market right now for proofreaders and for editors for your books. You can get the job done very cheaply and very professionally. I'm going to go ahead and work right now on creating that list for you of editors that you can contact to save you a whole bunch of time and money and effort, and hope you find that really helpful and really valuable. And if you do have an editor, either from this list or from elsewhere that you've used to edit or proofread your books, please, please, please let me know. Email me at tom@tckpublishing.com, or write a question here in the Udemy course, and let me know if you're willing to refer that person to other students of this course. Let me know their name, their email, their phone number, what their general pricing structure is for editing work, and I would love to provide the best resources possible for students of this course to make sure that you don't waste your money or time on people who are trying to rip you off. I want to make sure to protect you, to save you money. I know I've wasted thousands of dollars on contractors that either were unethical or just unorganized or unprepared or whatever it was, but they just didn't follow through. And I do not want you to waste money. You paid good money for this course, and my job is to put more money in your pocket to save you money and help you earn more on Kindle. So I want to do that. So if you have any references, please email me, tom@tckpublishing.com. Hope you love this video. Hope you love the list of editors. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.